Bleacher Report just dropped their new 2025 NBA mock draft. It's going to be 2 rounds, and we're going to get pro comps as well. On the cover is going to be Igor Demin, one of the best college basketball players so far this season. Probably, in my opinion, the most favorite player I've been able to watch so far this season. Ace Bailey's been up there as well. But yeah, if you new to my channel and you enjoy this video, I hope you consider subscribing. But if you aren't new, you've seen some of my other videos before. This is one of your second or maybe third video. Please subscribe as well because if you like my content that much, why not just subscribe? With the first overall pick, we're gonna have the Toronto Raptors take Cooper Flag. Cool with this. I think Flag is still the number one overall prospect. Ace Bailey has emerged to be that 1B guy for me. But right now, with his defensive versatility, with his physicality in the offensive side of the basketball as well, he reminds me of guys like Jalen Johnson, of guys like Paolo Banchero, and defensively, even a guy like AK-47. He's been really good so far this year. Has had some laps, especially the last 2 possessions against Kentucky. Turned over the ball twice when he really should have looked to pass the ball to an open man. But he's 17 years old. How much are you going to put that against him, and how much can he improve for the future? He's number one for me, and he should be for the rest of the year. At number two, we're going to have the Wizards take Ace Bailey, 100% my 1B guy in this draft class. It's Cooper Flag, it's Ace Bailey, and it's not that far apart. Bailey has been so good to start the year. I did not expect this type of shot making ability out of him right away. Expected maybe to be something he improved on as the year went on, or maybe even something he got at the NBA level. But he's able to shoot it right now in college basketball. Insane tough shots. He's able to hit all of them. He's been so good this year for Rutgers. He's played one exhibition game, looks elite against St. John's. He's played 2 official games and looks really good as well. The 3-point shot can be a bit inconsistent, but he's able to rise up in the mid-range area. He's 6'9". He's a good defender as well. And I know I did say his 3-point shot's inconsistent, but he's still shown great flashes of that ability. At number two for the Wizards, I absolutely love it. At three for the Philadelphia 76ers, we're going to have Dylan Harper. I think at the time I'm recording this, the 76ers are the worst team in basketball. Ugh. But hey, maybe a Dylan Harper, Jared McCain future backcourt can work because you're gonna have to trade Tyrese Maxey, all those guys, because they're not gonna want to pay for this poverty franchise. But no, real talk though, if you have the problem with McCain, with Harper and Maxey, that's called a good problem. That means you have too many good players on your team. I assume Harper's going, or not Harper, McCain's going to come off the bench for them in the long term, unless they decide to move one of them. But, just talking about the player, Dylan Harper, instead of the actual fit with the 76ers, Harper, like Ace Bailey, has looked very good for Rutgers so far this year. The 3-point shot has looked really good. He's been one of the best downhill players in college basketball this year as a freshman. I think he still has some stuff to improve on in terms of being a lead guard. He's already a great combo guard. He has great size at 6'6". He's going to project into a great defender as well. Three for the 76ers. While the fit could be a bit iffy with Maxey and McCain, I still really like it. At four, the Utah Jazz take Igor Demin. Nice. Finally in the top five. He's been the number four overall guy so far this year for me as well. Igor Demin, one of the best playmakers in college basketball at 6'9". One of the best shot makers, shot creators in college basketball right now at 6'9". He's not supposed to play point guard, but he is playing point guard in this Kevin Young system. When you have a guy who's 6'9", who can create his own shot, who's not a slow paced type of player, who we see a lot of these overseas guys become, he's going to be a hot commodity come NBA draft time. He's a faster player. He's able to slow the game down when he needs to, but he can push the ball down the court to find the open man. And him and Cannon Cashing so far this year at BYU have been very fun to watch. I think Kevin Young has put a great culture into this BYU program, and Igor Demin has looked absolutely elite. Perfect pick for the Jazz here at pick four. We're looking to maybe have an Igor Demin, Keontae George backcourt of the future. VJ Edgecombe goes number five to the New Orleans Pelicans. Guess I am cool with this. I think he would slide right into that number fifth overall or number five overall prospect. He has been a bit slower for Baylor so far this year. All these freshmen have been so amazing. Austin Newell, Igor Demin, um, Ace Bailey, Dylan Harper, Will Riley, Cooper Flag, Colin Knipple, Liam McNeely. There have been so many elite freshmen so far this year. I mean, Trey Johnson, he's probably been the best out of everybody. DJ Edgecombe has kind of fell under the radar just a little bit. He has been a great scorer, but he's shown really good defensive abilities. I still think at being about 6'3", 6'4", he's going to have to improve on being a lead guard because it's going to be really tough to succeed at the next level if you're going to be a 6'3" shooting guard. Fortunately, right now, that's what VJ Edgecombe is. Now, Anthony Edwards, he's a 6'3" shooting guard, or 6'4" shooting guard. He's probably about 6'4", and he's able to do it really well. VJ Edgecombe does not have the same abilities as Anthony Edwards. Let's be for real. But at five for the Pelicans, I think it's good value and it's a fine pick. There's Trey Johnson at number 6 of the Nets. I believe ESPN also had Trey Johnson go to the Brooklyn Nets. So apparently, maybe it's just something that's going to happen. I'd love to see Trey Johnson go to the Nets because that means he potentially play next to Cam Thomas. And imagine all the shots that go up with Cam Thomas and Trey Johnson on the court at the same time. That would be insane. Trey Johnson, I've talked about him in some of my previous videos. He's a guy who's going to shoot a lot of questionable shots, but so far at Texas, they have been going in. I don't know if it's going to stay like that for the whole year. His shot guy is definitely interesting. Very, very interesting. But as long as he's hitting them, I guess I can't complain. Conklin Nipple goes to the Bulls at number 7. I think some of the Bulls fans might be a bit mad if they ended with Conklin Nipple here at 7 because they want to see a guy who has high level potential to be this team's future franchise player. But realistically, a team that's building for the future needs to acquire some of these really high level role players like the Chicago Bulls. You're not going to win a championship next year, probably not for the next 4 years. You're going to be in contention, maybe 3 years if you're lucky. So getting a guy like Concanipple, who's maybe not going to be an elite All-NBA first team type of caliber player for you, he's going to be a guy who's kind of like Corey Kispert. Corey Kispert came into the league for the Washington Wizards and has been a really good three-point shooter. The only problem for Corey Kispert is that he plays for the Wizards. They haven't built to anything as long as he's been there. Confident will go into the Bulls. Maybe that can kind of start this rebuild, kind of start building into a championship team. I like it a lot at number 7. Common Malawatch going to the next year at 8. So they end up in the first round. I think they have more picks as well with Trey Johnson and Common Malawatch. Malawatch here pick 8 just means that either Nick Claxton or Daron Sharp are expendable. Daron Sharp, I believe, has barely played so far this season for the Nets. So if it's anybody, it's probably going to be him, especially because Nick Claxton just got paid and Daron Sharp didn't. But yeah, I really like Kamal Malachi here at 8. He could also be a lot of more of a cheaper option at that center position if you decide to move on from Nick Claxton. Malawach has played great for Duke so far this season. He's still going to be a raw prospect though, so I don't know how many minutes he'll get right away at the NBA level. Nolan Traore goes to the Hornets here at pick 9. Um, okay. I mean, LaMelo Ball is your lead guard right now, but I guess you guys can play them both in the backcourt at the same time. Honestly, I have no problem with that at all. Traore, very slow start to the season so far for him over in France, but he is playing in a pro league. His efficiency is not great, but he's also playing against grown men. While these guys are playing against 18 and 19-year-olds, so definitely a bit of a talent difference right there. But I think he's going to catch up with himself. He's going to become a solid shooter, even though he has not shown that so far. And I'm not worried about Nolan Traore. I think 9 to the Hornets would be an interesting fit next to LaMelo Ball, but I think they make it work out. The Spurs take Liam McNeely here at number 10. Was that their first or second pick? I think that was their first pick. I like Liam McNeely. I think there's no problem putting him next to Victor Wembanyama for the future, just to be a floor spacer. You kind of have that right now in Harrison Barnes, but we're going to get a guy who's more than a decade younger than Harrison Barnes to come in and give that similar value. McNeely so far at UConn has looked great in the Dan Hurley system. I expect that to continue to happen. Noah Essengay, all the way at number 11 for the Portland Trailblazers. Okay, definitely one of the more raw players in this draft class. I have him at the very bottom of my first round right now. But if you're really going to buy into that potential with for the Portland Trailblazers here at pick at number 11, I definitely would prefer a lot of other guys. Hmm, interesting. I don't know how much I love this. I think it's definitely one of those picks where you just are banking for the future, and maybe S and Gay can bring that, or maybe he doesn't. CMB, Colin Murray Boyles here at number 12 to the OKC Thunder. I've talked about it a lot. I think my favorite fits for CMB, Colin Murray Boyles, just call him CMB for right now, in the NBA draft are going to be the Kings. I think he'd be really good next to Domantas Sabonis. The Rockets, same thing with Alperen Sengun, and the OKC Thunder. Those are 3 teams that I think can really develop their role players into being solid bench players. Colin Murray Boyles, I think, does have the, or I guess I should say, I call him CMB. CMB has the potential to be a very solid rotational piece off the bench. I think for the Thunder specifically, I mean, they love to develop these guys, so 12 makes a lot of sense. The Mavericks take Boogie Fland here at pick 13. Oh boy, that's high. Yeah, I think ESPN had him completely out of the first round, so him at 13 is definitely a bit, I'm not gonna say confusing because I still have him as a first round prospect, but definitely a bit interesting. You already have in your guard rotation right now. What you got? Luka Doncic, obviously, Kyrie Irving. You have Jaden Hardy, and this would be Boogie Fland here. So unless you plan to play Jaden Hardy and Boogie Fland at the same time, even though you would definitely 100% stagger their minutes, interesting. I would not target guard for the Dallas Mavericks here at 13. I would more look at that forward position. I think there's still a lot of good players on the board right now. Even Austin Newell would be really cool for this Mavericks team. But yeah, Ricky Flynn might be a bit too high, and I also don't really love the fit. Speaking of Austin Newell, he goes 14 to the Atlanta Hawks. Talked about it a lot. He's been great to start the season for Georgia. I think him next to guys like Jalen Johnson, Yuka Okongwu, Zachary Rizashe for the future will be very fun for this Atlanta Hawks front court. He's been great. He also is going from Georgia, University of Georgia, to Atlanta, so very short commute. Drake Powell goes 15 to the Thunder. Powell has been very slow to start this year for North Carolina, so right now he might be a bit more of a late first round guy. He has just not asserted himself on the offensive side of the basketball, and maybe that's the North Carolina system, or maybe it's just that he's not been playing great to start the year. I don't know. He's been a good defender though, so that's definitely something to mention about him. Ben Saroff to the Spurs at 16 kind of just feels like a guy you'd love to bring off the bench because I don't really know. I mean, do they have another pick so far in this draft class? Sorry for scrolling back down. But they did pick Liam McNeely, so I guess guard isn't too bad. Next to Stephon Castle for the future, I kind of like that because he is going to give you good playmaking abilities. He's about 6'4". He's a lefty. I'd like to see him create a shot definitely a bit more. He's definitely one of the more slower players, the guard position in this draft class. But I guess at 16, it's good value for the Spurs. I don't really have too much of a problem with it. Hugo Gonzalez goes 17 to the Indiana Pacers. Said a lot of times, my favorite prospect in this draft class. I think he's the most all-around prospect in this draft class. I think he should still go top 10, but started off the year a little bit slow, hasn't got too much playing time. So maybe if you want to drop him down to 17, sure, give the Pacers a steal of the draft. Adu goes 18th to the Minnesota Timberwolves. He started off in the draft process for me as a guy who kind of just get drafted maybe in the late second round, just based off of his athleticism, his hunger on the defensive side of the basketball, his unselfish ability to dive for loose balls, to be a hustle player, but he's turned into a positive offensive player so far as well for Arkansas. He's been Arkansas's best player so far this year, and that says a lot in a John Calipari system where they prioritize the development of guards. Boogie Flynn, he's there. DJ Wagner's there. John L. Davis is there. They got a lot of good players over there, and Adu has kind of just went above everybody. Jaleel Bethea goes 19 to the Brooklyn Nets, so I believe that is now common model watch Trey Johnson and Jaleel Bethea. Trey Johnson and Jaleel Bethea is definitely a bit interesting in the same draft class. They play the same position basically. But yeah, Bethea, not great to start the year for Miami. He's averaging less than 10 points per game. He's shooting around 40%, might even be under 40% at this point. He's just been a bit underwhelming. I think he could still be a first round guy. I think he could still play his way into the lottery. But for right now, I think 19 to maybe late first round is the appropriate range for him. Nick Clifford goes to the Memphis Grizzlies at 20. I mean, the Grizzlies are not afraid to take guys that don't match up with the NBA mock drafts. I haven't seen Nick Clifford in the first round in the whole process. He has been a very solidified early second round guy for me so far this year, but he is a great all-around scorer, and I think for the Grizzlies, if he ends up being at them for the next level, he'd be a really good role player in terms of setting screens, rolling to the basket, even stretching out for three, being able to score the highest level of role players in the NBA. I like the pick a lot for the Grizzlies at 20. Kostas Yakujonis goes to the Utah Jazz at 21. This would be a great pick. I mean, if he falls down to 21, the Jazz are able to take him, then hooray, because that's a really good pick. Could be a team's lead guard for the future. I think ESPN, or maybe is it this? Yes, they have 6'10" for some reason. That's just not true at all. He's about 6'4", 6'5", 6'6". I have not seen him at 6'10", especially watching him in the game. He's not 6'10". But yeah, he's a good lead guard. I think he's averaging about 8 assists so far this year. He hasn't shot too many shots for Illinois, so if he's really afraid to shoot the basketball, that can be a problem at the NBA level. But he was able to do it before he reached Illinois, so I think he's going to be able to adapt that into his game a bit more and continue to progress as a prospect. Speaking about progressive prospects, Will Riley goes 22 to the Magic. Oh my gosh, has he looked elite so far this year for Illinois? Back-to-back Illini here at 21 and 22. But Will Riley has been one of the best shooters in the country so far this year. Him being 6'9" and being able to stretch the floor is basically every team's dream, especially a team like the Magic who are looking to get more shooting. Ooh, this is interesting. Noah Penda here at 23 to Orlando Magic. Now, I like to be honest with you guys. I don't know who this guy is. Completely honest, I have no idea who this guy is. Now, apparently, if he's really in the talks to being a first round pick, I gotta research him. I gotta watch some film. His player comparison is Nick Batum. Ooh, I forgot to look at the player comparisons. I'll go back to that. But yeah, hmm, okay. Live dribble passing. Don't see too much about him. Connector type skill set. I'm guessing he's just a stretch forward who's able to defend basically every position. That's kind of what I'm seeing with Nick Batum. But yeah, interesting. Time to watch some Noah Penda highlights, or I guess full game tape. If you want me to read the player comparisons, I'm about to do it. If you don't, just skip ahead in the video just a little bit. Cooper Flag, Andre Kirilenko, like I said, defensively, and Jalen Johnson offensively. Ace Bailey is going to be Brandon Miller. Harper is going to be Kobe White, Jalen Brunson, and James Harden. Igor Demon, Jalen Rose, okay. VJ Edgecombe is going to be Wiggs, Shane Sharp, and Victor Oladipo. Trey Johnson, Cam Thomas. Oh, we got Cam Thomas. Two Cam Thomases in the backcourt. Con Knipple is going to be Wally Zerbiak. I like that one. Common Malawach is going to be Alex Sarr. Eh, okay. Nolan Traore is going to be Lonzo Ball. Liam McNeely is Keegan Murray. Okay, I like that one. Noah Essengay is Jabari Walker slash Precious Ottawa. Colin Murray Boyles is going to be Julius Randle. Okay. Boogie Fland is going to be Darius Garland. Austin Newell, Jalen Smith. Um, Drake Powell is Herb Jones. Ben Saraf is Manu Ginobili. Hugo Gonzalez is Jonathan Kuminga. No, I mean, that's just not true. Adu Fierro is OG Anunoby. Jaleel Bethea is Anthony Simons. Nate Clifford, Landry Fields. Casper Jonas, Spencer Dinwiddie. Okay. Will Riley is Kelly Oubre and Keyshawn George. Noah Penda, like we said before, Nick Batum. And at 24, LeBaron Fallon or Foreman, excuse me, out of Alabama. He's been one of the more exciting players to watch so far at Alabama this year. He's really taken a step so far. We did not expect this guy as a freshman to come out and be this good, but he is. He has great downhill abilities and also able to stretch the floor as well. His player comparison is going to be Al Suma and Anthony Melton, two smaller guards, about 6'3", 6'4", for Al Sumu, but are able to give all of their effort on the defensive side of the basketball and also create on the offensive side of the basketball as well, similar to LeBaron Fallon. Corner Bryant to the Hawks at 25. I think he might be a bit too similar for, or to, excuse me, Jalen Johnson. So that's kind of a crowded front court, power forwards in general with Reese, with DeAndre Hunter, with Jalen Johnson, with Carter Bryant. I mean, they kind of had the same problem they had a couple years ago when they had way too many forwards and they just had to get rid of some of those guys. Cam Reddish, John Collins, Bogdanovich, City Beg. They just had way too much. We know the story. But at 25 to the Atlanta Hawks, I guess I'm cool with it. It's good value. Rocco Zakarski goes 26 to the Brooklyn Nets. It's having a pretty sneakily good draft. Got Zakarski, they got Jaleel Bethea, they got Common Malawach, okay, and they got who was the first guy? Trey Johnson. So getting Zakarski and Malawach in the same draft class makes me think you're ready to just get rid of Nick Claxton and Damian Sharp. Well, I'm not 100% with that. I can kind of see the willingness to do that because you just paid Nick Claxton all that money, want to get that off the books, and we're not willing to pay Damian Sharp the money he's going to want. So Zakarski here at 26, while it might not be the highest need, it's really good value. 27 is going to be Ian Jackson to the Los Angeles Clippers. Jackson, he's a New York guard. He's going to be great downhill, but he's also going to have some turnover problems. Also, being about 6'2", 6'3", doesn't have great lead guard abilities. That's something you're going to need to have at the NBA level if you're going to be Ian Jackson's size. I believe he's going to be good. I also think he's going to have to improve a lot on his lead guard abilities, though. 26 of the Clippers is going to be a really good place to develop under a guard like James Harden. Karen Catchings goes 28 to the Boston Celtics. He's been one of my favorite players to watch so far this year in college basketball. Has been looking great at BYU. He's about 6'9", able to stretch the floor, and also is going to give you elite defensive abilities. I love him a lot at 28. His player comparison is going to be Zaire Williams. Honestly, I like that. Ryan Kolkbrenner goes to the Golden State Warriors at 29. I'm not going to lie, if Alex Caravan's on the board for the Warriors here at 29, you got to take him. He's the perfect fit for you. But I guess adding more size to their front court could be pretty interesting. His player comparison is going to be Colin Castleton. Okay, I'm not saying it's wrong, but definitely interesting. Speaking of Caravan, oh boy, would I hate this. If Caravan ends up on the Utah Jazz and they waste his elite role player potential, I'm going to be mad. Oh boy. But yeah, Alex Caravan, one of the best three-point shooters in college basketball, one of the most underrated defenders in college basketball, the best cutter in college basketball. He has everything you want in a high-level role player. I'd love to see him end up with a team like the Denver Nuggets or the Golden State Warriors, but a lot less the Utah Jazz. His player comparisons, Georges Niang. Oh my gosh, no. No. I mean, I guess they're both slower forwards, but Caravan brings so much more to the defensive side of the basketball and 3 point. I guess Niang has the 3 point shooting, but I think Caravan's a lot more of a. How to explain it? So he's just not George Niang. Think Pate 31 to the Mavericks. We're gonna kind of go past the second round quickly. Okay, I guess that's pretty interesting. His is Sean Livingston. I'm not gonna read all the player comparisons. If you want to see them, I'll just scroll to them. Um, I guess Gershon Yabusele getting drafted. No, obviously Michael Rusic. We're gonna have Derek Queen at 33. Okay, it's interesting. Rasheer Fleming at 34. I'm gonna have to learn a lot more about Rasheer Fleming. Fleming. Do not know 100% about him. Jameer Watkins at 35, Alex Tuhi at 36, Harris Proctor 37 to the San Antonio Spurs. At 30, we're going to have KJ Lewis, Josan Sanan or Sanan. Dang, I remember watching him a lot during high school. Just he was one of the highest rated guys for me. He was right outside my way too early. Lottery mock draft. Just forgot how to pronounce his name. Jason Josan Sanan, something like that. 40 is going to be JT Top think it is Josan Sandin. Maybe I'm wrong. But Nets take JT Toppin at 40. 41, we're going to see Kwame Evans Jr. 42 is going to be Mackenzie Mbako. 43 is going to be Zvonimir Ivisic. 44, Michael Ajayi. We're going to have Kobe Bryant, best shooter in the country out of Kentucky. Yaxel Lenzenberg, another guy I'm going to have to watch a lot this year because do not know too much about him. Jalen Swanson makes me feel like he's a good floor spacer. Cam Jones struck a triple double. He's 40, what, 7 to the Lakers. Oh, I like that. Foster at 48. We're going to have Tucker DeVries at 49. Walter Clayton at 50. Hunter Sallis 51. Milan Momcilovic at 52. Darian Williams at 53. Xavier Lee, nice to see him get drafted at 54. Also to the Lakers, making some nice picks. Dylan Swain at 55. Richards, I've seen him twice in my trust, and I have to watch a lot more of him at 56. St. Thomas, 57. Adama Ball. I don't know if his name was Adama Alpha Ball. I guess that makes him cooler. He's 58. And then we're going to have ooh, Bogdanov Markovic. Another guy I'm going to have to read up on. That's going to be the mock draft. Hope you guys enjoyed. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to leave a like and subscribe to the channel. If you want to see some of my other videos, they're going to pop up in the top right and probably in the end screen of the video as well. It's probably already popping up because the video is about to end. Hope you guys enjoyed. See you guys next time. Peace.